Grab a cup of coffee and start your Sunday with Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life. Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life features stories to inspire, motivate, and empower you. Live your best life now. Listen, learn, think, and decide. Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life. Every Sunday morning at 9 on the Talk of New York, AM 970, The Apple. Visit cyacyl.com.
Hi, I'm Joan Herman, and this is Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life. Thanks for tuning in. Our guest today is author and Harvard Medical School psychotherapist Jean Fain. In Jean's private practice, she uses hypnosis and mindfulness to treat everyday eating issues. Her health articles have appeared in O, the Oprah magazine, Condé Nast Traveler, Shape, and more. Jean has dedicated her work to helping others keep physically, emotionally, and mentally fit. Jean is also the author of the book, The Self-Compassion Diet, a step-by-step program to lose weight with loving kindness. Jean, I have to tell you, as the queen of yo-yo dieting, I am very interested in your approach to weight loss. I think it makes a lot of sense, and I'm very excited to bring this to our listeners. You say that the secret to weight loss isn't counting calories or depriving ourselves, that it's about cultivating self-compassion. What do you mean by self-compassion in relationship to weight management?
Well, the simplest definition of self-compassion is treating yourself like a friend or a loved one with care and concern. And when you do that, you're more apt to eat when you're hungry and stop when you're full, rest when you're tired, and move when you feel energized. And all of that results in natural weight loss.
So it's really the opposite of what most of us do. Most of us are so hard on ourselves that it's that guilt and that emotional eating that we partake in pretty much, I think, on a regular basis.
Yes, a lot of guilt, a lot of self-loathing, a lot of deprivation. And dieters truly believe, and maybe you're one of them, that if you force yourself to eat this and not that, if you discipline yourself to stick to a low-calorie diet and a rigorous fitness program, then you'll lose weight and keep it off. But that actually traps you in a vicious cycle of undereating and overindulging. I mean, think about it for a second. When you do force yourself to eat puny portions of diet food, isn't it just a matter of time before there you are raiding the cupboard for cookies and chips?
Well, absolutely. And there's that mindset. And I know I've done this. I broke my diet. I had one chocolate chip cookie, so, I might as well just eat the package now.
That's right.
And so, okay, so how do we, because I think what you've just described pretty much sums up, I would say, and I think I'm pretty safe in generalizing this, what everyone does, or pretty much everyone. So how do we avoid this? How do we make this change?
Well, you head toward self-compassion, rather than trying to stick to the plan no matter what. So if you're starving, stick with the tiny portions, or you're exhausted, keep moving, no pain, no gain. Then how about trying something a little more compassionate, something much more effective and a lot more fun, which is practicing treating yourself with care, self-compassion.
So how do we cultivate self-compassion, Jean?
Well, there are many ways, but my favorite is called loving kindness meditation. And don't worry, you don't have to sit on a cushion and focus on your breath for 10 years. It's really simple and easy. So for 10 to 15 minutes a day, you can practice formally, sitting in silence, or informally, walking around the neighborhood. And in either case, or wherever you are, silently repeat these 4 phrases. May I be safe, may I be healthy, may I be happy, may I live in ease. So it's safe, healthy, happy, and ease. And you start by wishing yourself well, and then extending well wishes to your next-door neighbor, the postman, the new mother with the baby carriage. Do that, and you will feel calmer, less reactive, and much less likely to indulge in emotional eating.
Well, and Jean, it sounds like that would just be a great practice for anything in our life. I mean, we're talking today about weight loss and weight management, but I think that would be something that can be applied to help you in all areas of your life.
It's true. It works like antidepressants without the negative side effects. So practice loving-kindness meditation or any of the other self-compassion enhancing meditations in my book, and you will improve your mood, decrease depression and anxiety, enhance your concentration, and decrease all sorts of health risks, including heart disease, diabetes, the whole range of illnesses that are so prevalent today.
And we will get to more of your compassion-enhancing tips a little bit later. You had said that most dieters try to kill cravings and break habits with self-discipline, but only self-kindness can help quiet the shame that traditional diets instill and establish a harmonious relationship with food. What supports the assertion that kindness, not discipline, is the missing ingredient in every diet?
Well, there was one incredibly compelling study where they took veteran dieters, they made them all eat a donut, the forbidden food.
Mm-hmm.
And half of the group, they gave encouraging words, kind words. They told them, everyone overeats sometimes. It's not the end of the world. You can stick with your healthy intentions at the next snack and meal. So that group got that. The other group was left alone with their self-criticism and self-loathing. Then both groups, each individual in both groups, were left in a room with a television and deep bowls of candy. Now the ones who were more compassionate towards themselves, because they got that encouragement, they tasted the candies, but they did not binge on them. Those who were left alone with their self-criticism, they ate a lot of chocolate. That study was so compelling, it got me thinking, I really need to get this word out there. I really need to write this book.
So eating is so directly connected to how we feel. It's so far now from just being for nutrition and to sustain life. It's just a part of who we are. And so now we need to figure out a way to separate these two things. Is that correct?
Observe the emotion that's coming up, because all sorts of feelings are going to come up about food in this society, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have all those movie stars on the screen, and we compare ourselves, and then we don't feel so great. So whether a negative feeling comes up, like one where you're watching Cameron Diaz and thinking, I'm not that attractive, I'm overweight, I'm fat. Whatever comes up, positive or negative feelings, just noticing what they are, and rather than judging, beating yourself up, giving yourself a hard time, consider kindness. Try a little kindness, and you'll be less reactive, and the emotions will quiet down. The likelihood of emotional eating, as I said, is less likely. So you can't separate them, but you can pay more attention to them and be kinder to yourself.
Is that why sometimes when we're doing whatever type of diet it is that we're on, and we're succeeding at it, and we start to feel better about ourselves because we're losing weight and we're looking better, yes. Is that why then we become more successful for that time period, because we feel better about ourselves?
Well, that certainly helps for a little bit, right? Mm-hmm. But then most people are really hungry after a while, and they get cranky because they can't have their favorite treats, and they're under-eating, and it's just a lot of work to stick to those plans. And at that point, when they start feeling the negative feelings, rather than notice, I'm hungry, I'm unhappy, they try to ignore those feelings and just plow ahead with the diet. And that's when they get into trouble.
If you could sum it up, are you saying that we could pretty much eat whatever we want, mm-hmm. but if we have self-compassion, if we have a self-love, we will just eat what we need. We won't have that need to overeat. Is that how this works?
Exactly. You can enjoy your favorite treats. You can have your cake and eat it too, as long as you treat yourself like a good friend and practice kindness. There's no need to deprive yourself with that attitude.
So with this mindset, in a natural progression, we would mm-hmm. eat less because we don't have to fill any type of void. Is that the basic premise of it?
Generally, because we're taking good care of ourselves. And when we take care of ourselves, we feel pretty good. And we don't feel like overeating. We don't have that big void. You're right, yes. It just feels better. It works better. And overeating is beside the point, frankly.
So I guess then that is at the bottom line of all the yo-yo dieting. It's like we do it for a short period of time. We get tired of it. We get upset with ourselves. We just say, the heck with it. I'm going to eat whatever I want. I don't care. Then we
Right.
gain the weight back again, and then we do this over and over and over again.
And we beat ourselves up more and more and more.
In your compassion enhancing tips, you talked about loving kindness meditation. You also have some tips: compassionate advisor, a compassionate note to self, and compassionate glasses. Can you explain what these are?
Sure. So the compassionate advisor is a very powerful guided visualization based on the assumption that inside all of us is a wise, compassionate advisor. So if you call to mind this advisor, this guide, and it could be the Dalai Lama, a favorite relative, anyone who sort of captures or embodies compassion. You bring them to mind, and then you focus on their loving qualities, their warmth, their love, their acceptance, and you find greater self-acceptance, greater perspective, and hope in that practice. So that, in a nutshell, is compassionate advisor.
Now, Jean, how does that actually work? How are we able to find that acceptance through this person or visualization?
Well, the best explanation is not scientific. If you think about staring into your puppy's eyes or a baby or a beloved child's eyes, you know how good that feels. You know how kind and warm and happy and just healthy you feel in their presence. And basically, it's as if you're carrying around the puppy or the little baby with you to remind you, oh, yes, there is goodness, there is hope, there is perspective in my life. And that, in turn, helps you make healthier food choices, healthier choices all around.
So it's just a way to remember good or a peaceful feeling. It's a symbolic representation.
Exactly.
Okay, now what about a compassionate note to self? What does that mean?
Well, that's getting your deepest concerns, thoughts, and feelings on paper, and not just writing about what's upsetting in the moment, about eating or life, but writing down whatever's on your mind for 15 to 20 minutes a day, and then following it with comforting words from an imaginary pen pal, which could be your compassionate advisor. So, say you overate the whole box of brownies. You write about, I can't believe I did this. I'm so out of control. I really am despairing about weight loss and weight maintenance. You write down those thoughts and feelings, and then imagine this loving pen pal. And what would that pen pal say to you? Would they say, yes, you are a pig, you'll never lose weight? No, they would give you hope. They would give you perspective. It's the same gist as the other exercise, but it's a writing exercise for people who like to write as opposed to an imaginary visualization kind of exercise.
Well, it sounds like a wonderful approach because one way you're getting all of those negative feelings out. The other side, you're actually forgiving yourself because
Yes.
You know, and I guess that goes to anyone who's ever offered advice to a friend.
Mm-hmm.
We always know exactly what to tell someone else to do, and we're very wise when we're helping somebody else.
We are.
So I guess that approach, Jean, lets us step back and help ourselves, but we're probably more apt to listen because it's coming, in essence, from someone else.
Yes. And it's not the usual things we say to ourselves, which are not kind, and you would never say to a friend. Yes.
Exactly. So you're teaching us how to be a friend to ourselves.
That is well put. Yes.
How about compassionate glasses?
Well, that is another visualization that teaches you how to view your body with a more objective, forgiving, appreciative eye.
Oh, that's a big one.
And imperfections and all. You get to put on a pair of imaginary glasses. You could have two pair, one with a distorted, self-critical pair of lenses and one with a compassionate pair of lenses. And you imagine looking at yourself in a mirror with the two pairs of glasses. And remember how bad it feels to look at yourself through self-critical eyes, how upsetting, how much hate you have for yourself when you're looking at your body parts that you really don't like all that much.
Mm-hmm.
So you do that first, and then you put on the compassionate pair and imagine, viewing yourself through the friend's eyes or the caring eyes, and you get to see and feel the difference that self-compassion makes. Again, you feel calmer, a greater sense of well-being and perspective. And if that sounds too vague, I actually have a YouTube video of the compassionate glasses exercise. So if you go to the Jean Fain channel on YouTube, you can just hit the button and you'll get the view of wearing a pair of compassionate glasses.
And for our listeners, that would be spelled Jeanfain, Jean Fain channel on YouTube. Jean, what I love about this information, this show, we're doing it geared toward weight loss, but these exercises, as I said before, they can pretty much cover every aspect of our lives.
Exactly.
We're so harsh on ourselves about everything. So if you put on the compassionate glasses, it doesn't necessarily have to be because you're overweight or you don't like your eyes or whatever. It can just be a way of you viewing maybe a decision that you've made or a way you've treated someone,
Yes.
And I love this. I really do. I think this is incredible information.
Well, thank you. That's my hope, is that we can get Americans to treat themselves with a little more care, because this country, we are hard on ourselves. We expect a lot of ourselves, and then when we don't reach the pinnacle of success, then we are failures in our own eyes.
Well, and the thing too is, and that's the premise of this show, to change your attitude, to change your life, because we have so much negative chatter in our minds. We are so quick to tell ourselves, oh, I can't do that because I'm not smart enough, or I can't do that because I don't have the money, or I can't do that. And it's this, I can't, and that's all we say. So to be able to look at ourselves, as you're saying, with compassion, to be able to find a way to love ourselves, to be able to find a way to forgive ourselves. I mean, I think that's the secret to everything that we need to accomplish.
So do I. I really do.
I want to talk now, before we actually got into these techniques, and I got a little bit ahead of myself, so we have to just back up for a moment. You spoke about approaches to weight loss, and some of them, there are actually 3 of them: mindful eating, self-hypnosis, and group support. Can you take us through each of these? I'd like to talk about mindful eating first, because I think that's a wonderful approach and exercise and something to get used to doing.
And let me just correct you. There's 4 routes to sustainable weight loss that are psychological, and self-compassion is the main route, and it connects all of the other routes: self-hypnosis, mindful eating, and group support.
Okay.
Mindful eating is basically eating with attention, with awareness, with as little self-criticism and as much self-acceptance as you can muster. It is not chewing every bite 500 times. A lot of people think that's what mindful eating is. But it's just noticing, how does this taste? Do I even like what I'm eating? This is America. If you don't like what you're eating, well, you don't have to keep eating it. You could probably get something else. And eating it to the point of satisfaction and comfortable fullness. Eating when you're hungry, stopping when you're full. That, in a nutshell, is mindful eating.
And it sounds pretty simple, but it's, something that we just don't do.
Simple but not easy. Correct.
Right.
Most people are just inhaling their food, eating mindlessly, not tasting it, swallowing it in big chunks. It's a very unpleasant experience, mindless eating.
Well, we multitask. While we're eating, we read the paper, we're on an iPod, we're doing 1,000,001 things, watching TV. We don't even know we're eating. We're just shoveling food in our mouth, as you said.
Exactly. So the joy of eating has gotten lost somewhere along the way.
Jean, the self-hypnosis area, I think, did we cover that with the kindness meditation? And
No, we didn't actually.
Okay. So what exactly then would that be?
Well, you probably have a feel of what self-hypnosis is if you've ever gotten lost in a good book or movie. You focus your attention, you deepen your breathing, and you open your mind to new ideas and experiences. So rather than reading, say, Eat, Pray, Love, you're actually feeding yourself suggestions like, more and more, I am craving nutritious, delicious food. or every day in every way, I am appreciating the natural sweetness of fruits and vegetables. And with that practice, same thing happens. It's just a different avenue to get where you're going.
So is that almost like a replacement, for example, sitting and saying, oh, I would really love that hot fudge sundae. We're getting rid of that thought, and then we're changing it to that you are craving, oh, that cold apple. And is that the type of exercise that it is?
Well, it's tougher to do it when you're faced with a chocolate cake.
Mm-hmm.
You can work up to that, and that is a fine thing to do. It works better preventatively. If every morning before you get dressed, you have 5 or 10 minutes of self-hypnosis practice, you get in this calm state and give yourself the positive suggestions then. So by the time you are confronted with chocolate cake or whatever your trigger foods are, then it's like, oh, well, that looks a little too sweet. I think I'm craving something else, something nutritious and delicious.
Jean, very quickly before we run out of time, group support, what is the key to that?
Well, it makes a powerful difference, and I'm not saying you have to join a traditional diet group like Weight Watchers or Overeaters Anonymous, but when you get support, when you enlist loving, kind, caring people from your small circle of friends, a personal trainer, whatever, the odds of losing and maintaining weight, like 7 to 10% of your body weight, go way up, and you have a lot more fun, and you don't have to go it alone.
Jean, I think the information that we've covered here today, I think it's really interesting, and it makes perfect sense. And as I said, we've been talking about it in relation to weight loss and weight management, but the tools and the strategy that you've presented, I think people can carry into their everyday life, and it can touch every aspect of their lives.
I agree wholeheartedly.
If our listeners would like more information about Jean Fain, they can get it on our website, cyacyl.com, which stands for Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life. While there, please check out our new digital magazine, listen to past shows as podcasts, and sign up for our mailing list. You can also follow the show on Facebook and Twitter. Jean's book is called The Self-Compassion Diet, a step-by-step program to lose weight with loving kindness. Jean, is there a website that people can go to directly for information about your work?
Yes. They can go to my website, www.jeanfain.com. That's JeanFain. And they can find out about the book and the audio CD that goes along with the book.
Okay, so for more information, you can visit jeanfain.com or our website, cyacyl.com. Jean, it was a pleasure having you here today, and I would like to have you come back sometime and we can talk more about this.
I would love that. Thank you.
This is Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life. Thanks for tuning in.